Hi everyone and welcome to week 10. So this video is going to walk you through the assignments that you are going to work on for week 10 of our class. So as always, the landing page of your class starts on the announcements page, so just make sure you read the announcements that will appear here for week 10. I will also be sending you a Blackboard email just outlining what you're working on and the due dates. So when you're ready, you will click on lessons and you will find the week 10 folder. So this is still a continuation of the business scenario from last week where you were introduced to Southwestern Foods. So this week you are going to learn about business telephone etiquette, how to take phone messages, how to place telephone calls, and schedule appointments. There are a few assignments for this week, and as always, there are materials in the materials folder and in the assignments folder. So I'm going to actually start in the assignments folder, and then we'll jump back and forth between the materials folder. So you have 3 assignments this week. 2 of them have to deal with placing telephone calls and receiving phone calls, and the last one is scheduling appointments from telephone calls. So this first one that you're going to tackle says receiving phone calls. So instead of lecturing in a very long video, I created a 2-page handout on how to properly answer the phone if you are an administrative assistant. So it tells you in here how review the document in the materials folder on how to answer the phone. So if you go back to the week 10 folder and go to materials, you will see how to answer the phone. And I already have it open. And it looks, it's 2 pages, and it starts out, how important it is that you are the voice of the business when you receive phone calls, how to answer them properly on the 3rd or 4th ring, identifying yourself, how to take a complete message. And then page 2 talks about be careful when answering the phone for others. So you will actually need this document as a reference when you complete your assignments for this week. So once you've reviewed this document, you can complete the first assignment that is in the week 10 folder. So after you've reviewed the how to answer the phone document, you need to download the receiving phone calls file and the telephone message forms. I have those downloaded. So you are receiving phone calls, looks like this. So when your manager Amanda is not in her office, when she is in her office, she answers her own phone. However, she's not in her office today, so you are in charge of answering her phone. So you received 4 phone calls. So you were going to review these 4 phone calls, and then you were going to record the message on an electronic message pad. So I actually provided you with an electronic message pad. This is the second document, and it looks like this. So you can type for the date, the time, who the message is for, and anything important that you can gather from the conversation down here in the bottom. So yes, there are 4 message pads because you have 4 phone calls. So it says take the above messages and record them on the electronic notepad. After the messages are recorded, answer the following questions for each telephone call in a memo. And we'll show you where to find your memo at in a minute. It says here are the 2 questions, and you will need to answer both of these questions for each phone call. So these 2 questions get answered for each one of these phone calls, but notice that question 2 has 2 parts, okay? So after you record the phone call messages on your message pad, you then need to answer these questions for all 4 of these calls in a memo. So your memo template that I'm giving you is here, since most of you have not learned how to create a memo yet. So here is your memo template. So I'm providing you with the 2 from date and subject already here. You don't have to do anything with those. And then in the materials folder, I provided you with an example of what it should look like when it's done and how many times you need to press tab. So after the 2, you need to press tab 2 times type the name, from, tab twice, tab once for the subject. And then here's where you will type the body of your memo. So if you have any questions as you're filling that out, you just need to reach out to me. So when you are done filling out the message pad and done answering the questions in the memo, you just need to upload the message pad and the memos to this Dropbox and attach both files before clicking submit. Okay. Then after you're done with this one, you can move on to placing phone calls. So Mrs. Smith has asked you to place several telephone calls using the placing telephone calls sheet. So that one looks like this. So she has given you the telephone calls that you need to make. Basically what is happening in this scenario is that there is a conference and your speaker cannot come, so you are in charge of finding somebody else to attend. So this is kind of two parts. So you need to read the scenario at the top, and then the directions are kind of down here at the bottom. It says, before you place any calls, make notes on what you need to say using the form below. So here's kind of your electronic notepad that I created. Record all essential information such as names, telephone numbers, and dates, and the time of day. You need to be as detailed as possible if you were actually placing these phone calls. You also need to write down reminders about what you need to do after you have found someone to replace Mr. Nick, who cannot attend the conference. Be sure to list who you found as the replacement speaker, and your notes need to be as detailed as possible, or you will not earn full credit on this assignment. So again, just using your notes down here about how you would work through this scenario up here at the top. Okay, so you can actually just turn this entire document in when you're done, and I will scroll to the bottom and just grade your notes. And that can be uploaded right here. And the last assignment that you're going to complete for the week is scheduling appointments. So Mrs. Smith has asked you to start scheduling her appointments for her. She currently uses a paper monthly calendar, and sometimes it's hard for you to read. So you've decided that using Google Calendar would be more sufficient for you to keep track of not only your own appointments, but her appointments. So what you need to do before you start this assignment is in the Week 10 folder, there is a video on how to create a Gmail calendar. You do need to be logged into your SSC Gmail account to do this. And then once you follow those directions on how to create a Google Calendar, you can start this. So the last file that you need is scheduling appointments. And here are the appointments that she has asked you to make on her new Google Calendar. And then you will take a print screen of the first calendar that you've created, and then you will paste that in a Word document. If you do not know how to take a print screen, there are directions on how to take a print screen back in the materials folder for Week 10. Then before you leave for the day, it is you received more appointments and you need to make some adjustments. So here are the adjustments that you need to make to the calendar, and then you will need to take a second print screen and paste that print screen below the first one. You are only uploading the print screen document with the two print screens of the calendar. And then that completes the assignments for this week. So again, as you work through your assignments, we can meet via Collaborate. You can give me your telephone number and I can call you, or we can communicate via email. So hope everyone is safe and well, and good luck on Chapter 10 or Week 10, and let me know if you have any questions.